the order is given. Break their legs. End it quickly. The soldiers then move body to body, iron against the bone. I just, the experience that you have that sometimes you hear when someone falls and you hear the sound of that head banging to the floor and your body cringes because you feel it yourself. I just can't imagine the same thing to those bodies. The machinery of Rome is doing what it has done for many times before. When the moment comes to break Jesus' legs, the soldiers notice no movement, no breath. They don't need to hurry death because the Lamb has already given up his life. No bone needed to be broken. And this is not a small detail. It is heaven's proclamation. It is telling us of a song from a distance. In Psalm 34, verses 19 to 20, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He keeps all his bones. Not one of them is broken. I love what David Mathis, a senior teacher of Desiring God, speaks about this. He says, many readers today hardly know what to do with these unbroken bones. We no longer attach much symbolic significance to bones, as the ancients did. We scratch our heads at God's pledge to keep all his bones, as if that were a comforting promise to one who has already died. But in the Bible, bones are often filled with the marrow of figurative meanings depending on the context. From the close of Genesis through the Exodus from Egypt and into the promised land, we hear the story of Joseph's bones that travel from Genesis 50:25 like a vivid, ongoing sermon shouting, God will surely visit his people. Joseph, he cherished his bones because he trusted in bodily resurrection. How do we know that? Because Hebrews chapter 11, verse 22 calls that the true faith. Right beside that promise stands the Passover command that we see in Exodus chapter 12, verse 46. The Lord commanded concerning the Passover lamb, you shall not break any of its bones. The Passover's instructions, written centuries before in the blood of lambs and the urgency of Exodus night, are now standing in full color at the foot of the cross. God has been telling his story for generations. A detail that seemed small until God filled it with centuries of meaning. Then the prophet also stands in the valley in Ezekiel chapter 37. And we see this image of dry bones live again. And the psalmist declares in chapter 34 that he keeps all his bones, as I read before, pushing our hope beyond death itself. Intact bones become a quiet promise. Affliction may kill, but it cannot defeat. God will raise what belongs to him. So when John is speaking about this passage on verse 36 on chapter 9, that Jesus' legs were not broken, that is not a passing detail. It is the first glimmer of Easter in the darkness. The Father is keeping the body of his righteous Son because resurrection is coming. Long as Holy Saturday may feel, it is only a matter of time. This will come into fruition. Ah, beloved, isn't this amazing? The same God who protected Joseph's bone now is breathed life into dry bones, and also who keeps his Passover lamb's bones unbroken. That's the God who will raise you up with Christ. So, on your toughest day, you hold to hope. Yes, death, sickness, and pain are real. But for everyone who trusts the Lamb, they're never the end of the story. God is watching over your tomorrow, and help is nearer than you realize. It's all one beautiful story. One lamb, one faithful God who honors every tiny detail of his promises. This is what it hits for us home. Think about it. If God directed those Roman soldiers, if he timed his own son's death perfectly, if he made sure Christ's bones stayed whole to fulfill an ancient command, then your struggles aren't happening without his oversight, and your future is rock solid secure.